everyone, this is Tessa, and I wanted to welcome you back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about my progress preparing for NaNoWRIMO, which is National Novel Writing Month. July is one of their camp sessions, and they actually let you choose whatever goal you want. You're not stuck with their 50,000 word goal, which is standard in November, the original month. I also wanted to talk about the fact that this is my first outline, because I'm a pantser, and so this will be my first novel written with an outline of sorts. I have mentioned that I don't outline, haven't written one since I was doing research papers back in high school. And I'm not exactly sure that this is going to be a help and not just a hindrance. I have my stories in my head, and putting it down on paper is kind of like making a rough draft. And I have heard a few people say that, you know, the outline is kind of a rough draft. And I had started it. I had started out with putting a point with a couple points under it, like they taught us, you know, in school how to make an outline. I don't know what the proper outline, if there even is one for writers. I have listened to a lot of videos and everybody does it differently. Some of them go super fancy and waste a lot of time just color coding and doing all kinds of stuff. And if that works for them, that's great. But I knew I wasn't going that way. If anything, it was going to be very simple. NaNoWRIMO will be a week away tomorrow, and it starts on July 1st, and I usually start right after midnight because I'm usually up at that time, and I will be eager to be off and writing. Now, I find outlining tedious. Setting up character profiles, the same thing. I'm not exactly enjoying this part of the whole thing at all. I'm finding it very difficult. I created 3 character profiles because at first I was going to have 3 main characters, and then a couple minor characters that, you know, were just incidental. Needed, but incidental to the story. They didn't need to be main characters because they weren't going to be part of it for long. But then I came across a story in my blogs. As I mentioned, I have been going through my old blogging and looking for stories that might actually fit into this book. And of course I've, you know, done the work and written them, and I can't use them as they're written. They would have to be, you know, updated with names, and they would have to have things added to them so that they would fit into the current book that I'm writing. However, as I was going through, I would take each piece and notate it on the outline, which became just one number per point, none of this A, B, C, D, E stuff underneath of it. I just started writing a paragraph about what each point was about. I included in there if there was certain dialogue had already decided I wanted. I'm going to apologize right now for my voice. I have a very froggy voice, if you want to call it that, right now. I can't seem to clear it. So if it's making it hard to understand me, I do apologize. I'm not sure exactly what is causing it at the moment. Also, you may hear my air conditioner go off and on, and that's kind of like a humming sound in the background. So if you hear that, I turned it up higher to try to keep it from coming on while I was doing this. But I'm on the 6th floor and it's very hot up here. Not to mention how hot it is outside. So, anyhow, I had the 3 main characters. So I do need to complete at least 1, maybe 2 more, depending on how I'm going to finish this story. Because I had come to a halt. And I was still searching for certain stories I remembered writing in my blogs. And some were single, just weekly prompts, so they're like 100 words approximately. Usually, some of them were longer. I mean, depends on the person who set up the prompt, how many words they would let you use. Some of them were super short. I had one, I think it was like 17 words. And what I did is several of them I wrote over the weeks that followed. So some of them are like, you know, maybe anywhere from 6 to 8 to maybe 15 pieces that I wrote each week and added to the continuing story. So I'm taking all those and I'm putting everything, I'm pasting everything under each point, and then I will go through it and decide what I'm going to use. I will change the character names then if I use that part and it needs names mentioned or whatever. So in between my setup of trying to write an outline, I'm also going through my blog looking for old stories that I can use as part of the idea. And as I was doing that, I came across this one, and it's one of my favorites, but I thought this is perfect because it's going to throw a twist into the story that people aren't going to see coming. And I was really excited about that. So that is also in this list of points. And that's what it is. I mean, I'm not going to say it's an outline. To me, it's an outline. It's as close as it's going to get to an outline. And I don't know if there's a specific outline that writers use, because I have watched a lot of videos and I notice everybody's kind of got a different way of doing things, from plain to fancy. So, you know, I went with something super simple. I don't know if you qualify it as an outline, but it's as far as I'm concerned, it's an outline because I never write anything down. So for me, it's an outline. It's not going to be fancy. It's not going to be color-coded. It's not going to be any of those things. It's just a list of the story as it goes along so that I can keep kind of, you know, on track. I stopped briefly while I had a problem thinking about where to go, but I continued going through my old stories on my blogs. And it kind of prompted, when I came across this twist, it added a whole new aspect. So I was able to write more and make the, you know, the outline process continue and not stop where I was. I don't know if I'll get done in the week I have left till NaNoWRIMO starts, but I have enough to start for sure, and most likely enough to even meet my goal, hopefully, pretty fast without having to stop and finish an outline if it gets to that point. Because I do have an idea in my head where the story's going. There may be some more research I might have to do. But, so anyhow, I have to keep my goal down low since they allow us to choose our goals, because I don't want to let my blog go like I did last time. Last time I was also sick, really sick. I was in the hospital for the 10 days. So add that to trying to keep up with a blog. And my blog, I post quite a few things, usually daily. And that's a lot of writing on top of what I'm going to do for NaNoWRIMO. But once I let it go, it's harder to restart. And I just started a brand new blog with my pen name. So I'm actually starting to get followers now, and I don't want to lose the momentum I have going there. So I will want to do both of those at the same time. I will be working on both. So I didn't want to make my goal too unattainable, and knowing that there would be other writing during the day that I had to do. So I set it up in minutes, which they don't do anymore. They changed that and made it all words. Well, those of us who don't like that idea, you know, will say we'll write for X amount of hours or X amount of minutes a day and put that down there. So I decided I would write an hour a day. So take that times the amount of days in a month, multiply it 60 for the minutes, and that's the number I came up with. And then I will keep track of those minutes as I'm writing. And that's the way I'm going to track it. I can't do that in November when it's 50,000 words period. There is no choice. But for these camps, you have some control over what you do. And I know a lot of people, I've been listening to the Authortubers talk about it, a lot of people aren't going to use NaNoWRIMO anymore because they changed their site and they took away a lot of things that people liked, and they're just not happy. So they may have done themselves a disservice by changing. I have to admit, I don't like the new NaNoWRIMO at all, but I'm still working within it, though I don't know, you know, what's going to happen in the future, because a lot of people are just giving up on NaNoWRIMO. And they had a good thing going there, and I think it's a shame that they went ahead and ruined it by changing things the way they did. But that's their choice, not mine. So, back to where I was. So I have 2 more character profiles to put together, and then I have to finish my outline. I think I've got most of the stories that I know were in there that I wanted to use in this book that would go with it. I mean, I don't have time to sit here and go through, you know, thousands of stories and looking for a few things. I found mostly what I needed. So I'm probably going to stop looking through the blogs at this point. I may continue later because I'm still looking for story ideas. But as far as for this particular story, I think I've got a pretty good foundation now to write from. And so I'm going to just continue this last week and try to fill it out a little bit more with where I wanted to go, fill out those character sheets, and I'll be ready to go on July 1st, right after midnight, because that's when I usually start. So, if you enjoy my blog, please hit like. If you would like to subscribe to my blog, please subscribe. Hit the notification bells to be alerted to my next video. I try to post content-related video at least once or twice a week. And until then, be safe, everyone.